Nairobi, Kenya. We went last year, about March 2014. So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. But first, I have some questions. So, who wants to go to like Paris one day?
Oh,
Okay, and who wants to go to Thailand, Bangkok, like far in Asia? Okay, and Cape Town, South Africa. Everybody wants to go to Africa, right? No, okay. Well, so who likes to volunteer around here?
Me?
Any of y'all like to volunteer?
Yes, I do.
Anybody like to volunteer? No, okay, sometimes. Okay, well, see, when I was younger, my mom made me volunteer, and I say made me because I didn't have a choice. Like, she would volunteer with the church, and we would go feed the homeless together. I was in Girl Scout troops. When I got to high school, I was part of National Honor Society, and to graduate with honors, you have to volunteer. So I would like to say that I went to all those places, all those countries. Like I've been to Paris, I went to Bangkok, Thailand, I went to Cape Town. The Lord has blessed me to go to all these places at such a young age. And so my friend Jessica from church, she was going to Kenya for a missions trip for the year. And I was like, I should come visit you. And I was like, so I called my mom. I was like, Mom, why don't we go to Kenya to do a missionary trip with Jessica? And Mom was like, okay. And so then I got my dad over here to come because my dad likes to take photos, as you can see his camera. So I said, well, he can come take photos of the girls, and I promised him we were going to safari for at least one night so he could take pictures of all the animals. So he said, okay. So we all joined, and we all got to go to Kenya. We left on March the 28th, 2014. And Kenya's real far away. So we had to travel all throughout the night. We didn't land until Saturday, March 29th, and we landed at night. So it was the evening because Kenya is like 7 hours ahead of the Eastern Standard Time. And so we went to sleep and everything. We got to Jessica's house, and then we went to sleep. And so on Sunday, we went to Parkland's Baptist Church. You might have saw some photos. And the church didn't have any air conditioning, but they had fans going all around, so it was pretty cool and everything. And so after the church, we went to giraffes, so we pet the giraffes, and then after that, we went back home to sort out all the school supplies and toiletries that me and my mom have gotten as gifts from other people. And so we sorted that because we were going to take them to the school. So on Tuesday, April the 1st, we drove to the school, and the drive was like an hour and 30 minutes from Jessica's house in Nairobi. And so it was like really in the country, like, pure Africa, like what we saw when we drove there. And so the name of the school is the A.I.C. Girls Boarding School. And when we got there, we met the principal's office. We met the assistant principal and two of the social workers. And the social workers like actually go to the girls' tribes and everything and get the girls to come to school. And some of their parents don't want them to go to school. They want them to marry at like 13 or 14, and they trade cattle for them and everything. They didn't want them to go to school. So some girls came to school without their parents' blessing. And so basically the parents told them, like, we don't know you anymore because you're doing stuff that we don't approve of. And so we talked to those people, and then we went around to all the girls' different classrooms. And these girls were so beautiful. I mean, they spoke like 4 different languages, and they knew about the Bible, and they were quoting the scriptures to us and everything. And these girls, you got to realize, they wear the same outfit every day because that's all they have. They cut their hair really short because they can't afford shampoo or conditioner and stuff like that. So when we came, they were, one, excited to see us because we were all related, like it was me, mom, and my dad. And two, because we were black. Because they're used to white people coming to visit them. So to get black people to come visit them, they were really excited about that. And so they liked me because, I'm not young, but I'm younger than my mom. And so, like, I could kind of relate to their age. And so they were mesmerized by me because I had longer hair at the time. So they were, like, combing their fingers through my hair and just playing. And I just let them because, like, it was so unusual for them to see. And they asked me all type of questions, and I told them about my life and how I went to college and how I'm grown. I moved away, like I lived like 6 hours away from my parents. And that was shocking. And then I told him I could marry whoever I wanted to. And my daddy doesn't even have to like him. And they were like, what? Oh my goodness. And I was like, yep, that's how it works in America. You can do whatever your parents don't even like. And they'll still talk to you or not. They just don't care. So they thought that was very shocking. So that afternoon, we fed them lunch, and they eat as vegetarians because they can't afford school, because school had 700 girls. And providing chicken or pork or something every day at lunch is a lot of money in Kenya. So they were vegetarians. My dad took pictures of them after, and he took pictures of the 70 girls whose parents weren't really around or couldn't pay for them to go to school. So we took pictures of them to maybe advertise to get more money for them. And so after that, we gave them our supplies and school supplies. And the girls had all of us crying just because they were so thankful. And they liked the shampoo and the lotion because it was American scent. And they had never smelled anything like that. So they were like, open up the lotion, like, smell this, smell this, smell this, because they had never smelled anything like that before. And so when you see that for your own eyes, like people getting excited about lotion, like you just start crying because you can't do anything else. And so after that, we went back to Jessica's house. We rode the hour and a half back to Jessica's house. So on Wednesday, I'm sorry, that was March 31st. So on Tuesday, March the 1st, we went to a safari because I promised my parents a safari trip. And Jessica didn't go with us. So it was my parents and Anthony and I. We drove. The safari was 6 hours away. So we drove that 6 hours and got to the safari. We stopped at like a gas station and to get souvenirs and stuff. And I had been to Cape Town, Africa, so I was like, okay, this is normal, and everything. And so I was explaining how the facts of life and everything to my parents, and they were getting it. And I would like to say this, that my confidence, I traveled around the world, like my confidence is high. I think that I'm smart. I always studied strong in school and learned stuff and can remember things. And then God has always told me that I was cute. I don't know if everyone else feels that way, but I thought I was cute.
Yes,
Thank you, thank you. So my confidence was very high. So we went to the safari and we put our bags down and everything. So we went to see the animals. And we saw elephants and giraffes and birds and rhinoceros and just a whole lot of animals, deer and stuff that I don't even remember the African names for them. And so after that, we went back to the camp for dinner, and then we went to sleep and everything. So we woke up on Wednesday. We woke up super early Wednesday because this is April the 2nd, because some of the animals only come out at nighttime. So that we need to wake up at like 5:30 to go out to see the lions and hunting and stuff like that. So we woke up and we went to the safari camp of the truck and went out with Anthony. And so, we were looking for these lions because they had 3 lions. And we were like, we got to see some before we leave, because that day we were traveling back to Nairobi. And so we finally see some lioness chase after buffalo. And it was like 6 lioness, and the buffalo was not trying to die. Like, it kept running away from him and everything. So Anthony told us that how the lioness works, they were just going to keep running the buffalo. And when it got tired, then it was going to attack the buffalo. So we kept watching for, like an hour or so. And Anthony said, we need to get back to the safari camp so you guys can eat breakfast, so then we can drive back to Nairobi, which was 6 hours. And so we all agreed, and we said, okay. And then that's all that I remember. Anthony apparently was driving too fast on dirt roads, and he hit a pothole and flipped our car over. Like 2 or 3 times we rode down the hill. But God works in mysterious ways, because at the safari, in a different truck, there were some doctors just on vacation. So the doctors saw our car flip over and immediately came over to help. And so my mom, after the accident, she looked at me, and I was having trouble breathing. So she stuck her fingers down my throat so that I could breathe, because if not, I would have died just right then from not being able to breathe. And so then the doctors got me out the truck, or the safari truck, and then my parents got out, and then they made the truck face back normal. And so the doctors do what doctors do. They wrapped my head up a few times, and they gave me an IV, and was like, you need to fly back to Nairobi, because I can't do the 6-hour drive. So go to the flight line. My dad and Anthony, who was our driver, they went back to the hotel to get our luggage and everything. And so my mom was just there with me waiting. And so she said she started noticing that a lot of guys had guns. And my mom is, she was nerve-wracking, the wreck and everything. And she was like, why these people got guns? And they were like, well, ma'am, we're in a safari, so if the animals smell your daughter's blood, they're gonna come up here. And my head was bleeding and everything. So my mom was like, oh my gosh, we're at a safari, like, oh no. And so the first plane came, and they didn't have any seats for all three of us. And no one gave up their seats for me. And so then my parents had to wait for the second plane to come. And the second plane, they had seats, but then they made my parents pay for it. Because we're in Kenya, and the other people are trying to survive just like you are. So they need my parents to pay in order for us to go. So my parents, they swiped a credit card or something for us to pay. And my mom says, in the meantime, she had to talk with the Lord. Like, I don't know what she said to the Lord, but he definitely helped her get herself together in order to spare, to tell the doctors everything that they needed to know. And she also remembered I gave my parents a sheet of paper with emergency numbers. And I said, you need to call this if something happens to me or whatever. If we get, a cop incident or something, you need to call, because this is the American Embassy, and this number will be American that can help you. So my mom called, and she spoke with a lady named Debbie. And she said, my daughter works with you guys at the embassy, but she had an accident. And so Debbie said, okay, I'll meet you guys at Nairobi hospital. So my mom and dad, we both all got on the plane and flew back to Nairobi airport, and then took an emergency car to the hospital. And doctors and surgeons do what they do. They put me in the ICU, and then after that, the surgeons took my parents aside to tell them everything that they were going to do to me. And so my mom said she was crying in the midst of hearing all the news from the surgeons. And they were like, well, ma'am, do you need to get yourself together? And she was like, no, just go ahead and tell me everything. Like, don't worry about me crying. I need to hear what you're going to do to my daughter. So just go ahead and do what you do. And so the surgeons finished explaining stuff to her.
That's the pictures.
That's the pictures.
Oh, those are the pictures.
That's her on the cement slab with the doctors.
Right,
That's
and
in the
then this was in the hospital. And so the surgeons, they had to cut my hair off because I had to have brain surgery. And so if I can explain this in non-medical terms, but we all have a squishy brain, and then we have our skull around it. Well, my squishy brain was okay, but my skull around it had broken into a couple places. So the surgeons need to do brain surgery on me to patch up my skull. And so my mom was like, okay, and then my jaw broke at a few places or whatever. So they did brain surgery on April the 2nd, and then did my jaw surgery on April the 8th. Because, and they also did some facial reconstruction surgery, and they told my parents they needed some pictures of how I look with my hair in a ponytail so they can get my face back in order. And so my brother sent some pictures to my dad, and they got them to the doctors and everything. So I had 2 surgeries, one April 2nd, one April the 8th. And so different people from the Kenyan embassy, the American embassy in Kenya came to the hospital and support my mom and everything. And my mom was using her regular Verizon bill, and my dad was using his Verizon bill. And in Kenya, if you know, it's a lot of money for those international calls. So Debbie gave my mom a local cell phone for her to use, just because my mom ended up staying with me for 6 weeks in Kenya while I was in the hospital. And my dad came back on April the 4th, and then, so I don't remember any of this. I don't remember the accident. I don't remember the surgeries. I remember about 5 days in May of me waking up in the hospital, ready to go. Like, I had to go to speech therapy. They had to teach me how to talk again. I had to go to physical therapy. I had to learn how to walk again. I don't remember any of that. I do remember like some part of May, and I woke up just normal. I was talking, eating. I took my shower in the morning, got dressed, and my mom came because she had gotten extended visitation hours, so she could come from like 10 to 6 or 7. So she came and said, "Hey, Alana, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good. I'm ready to go. When can we leave?" And she said, "Okay, well, hold on. Let me go talk to the finance office in the hospital." And she would go talk to them, and then she would come back to me each day and say, "Yeah, you can't leave today, but maybe we'll try tomorrow." And I said, "What is wrong with this lady? Like, I'm ready to go." And see, my confidence at that level was still extremely high. And so I said, "If there's a problem, we need to fix it because I'm ready to go." And so one day I got dressed in my regular attire because I was ready to go. And my mom came in and said, "Where you going?" Like, because I didn't have the hospital gown on. I put my jeans and my shirt on, and I said, "I'm leaving." And then I walked off, or I don't know where I went. I don't know who I talked to. I definitely turned around and came back. And so my mom said the whole time I was gone, she was praying like, "Lord, please don't let Alana get into no trouble. Please let her come back." And so I came back and I went to the physical therapy that day, and so I was lifting weights and doing different stuff, and the guys told me that I would do better if I was in a hospital gown instead of in regular clothes. So if I could come back tomorrow back in my hospital gown. I rolled my eyes and was like, "Okay, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow because I'm leaving." And so in the midst of all that, me and my mom, I would read our daily bread. It's like a biblical reading. I would read that every day. We played puzzles. My mom painted my toenails. We watched TV. Different friends would call my mom's Nigerian phone they would just check on me. And so some of them I got to talk to on the phone, and of course they crying just because like I was alive. And I'm just like, "Hello, yeah, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to come back to America." And they just crying and talking to me and everything. And I remember going to my speech therapist. I did not know this lady was my speech therapist. I thought she was crazy. She was like a Scottish lady in Kenya for some reason, and I just thought she was crazy. So everything she said to do, I was doing it, but still looking at her like, "Lady, you are definitely crazy." So one day my mom came in on May the 9th, and side note, I didn't understand that my insurance company was trying to pay Nairobi Hospital one way, but Nairobi Hospital took a different form of payment. And that's why there was, like, I was ready to go, and then I couldn't leave because we hadn't paid my bill. My doctors said that I could leave at the end of April, but our insurance didn't pay to May 9th. So that was about 2 weeks that I was just in the hospital, just like as a slave or soldier or whatever, because I couldn't go. And the Nairobi hospital, like, I was the only American. And so they looked at me like, "You're American. We're going to get our money, and you're not leaving until we get our money, because you're going to fly back to America, and we never going to see you again." So I didn't understand any of that. I was just ready to go. Right. And my mom wouldn't tell me the reason. She was just like, "No, you can't leave today." And then I was like, "Well, you're not doing what you're supposed to do." But I didn't know that my mom was calling from Kenya, calling an insurance company all day long. My daddy back in North Carolina was calling the insurance company all day long, trying to get someone to do something to let me go. So anyway, so on May 9th, my mom comes in the hotel and she tells me, "You're going home." Yes, we're going home. So I got excited, I got dressed and everything. I was like, yes, bye to all the nurses. And then she's like, "Well, hold on, we need to wait on this wheelchair." I said, "Why I gotta wait on the wheelchair? wheelchair, ready to go. So I got in the wheelchair and we got on, and Randy, that was Debbie's husband. So Randy came to pick me up. And I said, okay, we going to the airport? And he said, no, we're going back to my house. I had a fit. I said, okay, we're going back to his house. But soon, later on the night, we're going to go to the airport. So we get to his house, and Debbie gets off work. And Debbie comes home. I said, hey, Debbie, we going to the airport? And she said, well, no, because how it works, if you get into an accident, you tell the airline company that you were in an accident, and they'll hold your seats for free. And so in order to get your seats back, you have to send them, a doctor has to write something to say that you're all clear to go, and they have to fax those papers to the airline. Well, it was Friday, and the airline's closed over the weekend. I said, you mean I got to stay here all weekend? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm ready to go. Like, so I remember having a fit that Friday night, and my mom, she couldn't really say anything to me. She just let me have my fit. And so I don't really remember Saturday, but I do remember Randy coming to me and telling me that Sunday was Mother's Day. And I didn't call my mom because mom didn't mean anything to me. Like, I called her Shelva because everybody else called her Shelva. So she was just Shelva to me. So Randy told me that he got my mom a frog because she collects frogs from different places all over the place I've been. I've gotten her a frog. And he was going to get her some flowers, and he got her this card for me to give to her and sign it. And so I signed it, and here I put Shelva, and then I put Alana, love Alana, P.S. your only daughter. Because mom, it didn't mean anything to me. It was mom. So, and then I signed it over here, and there are words misspelled, sentences don't make sense. It's barely, you could get what I'm saying, but grammar-wise, it's all off. And I remember looking at this like some months later, like, Mom, why did you stick up this card? You need to throw this mess in the trash. Like, I don't know what I was writing. And my mom said she was going to keep it because it just meant so much to her. And she would never give it away, no matter if she died or anything. So I brought it just for y'all to look at, but just make sure you keep it, because I got to get back to it. Right. And so we left, so Monday comes, Monday, May the 12th comes, and Debbie does the paperwork and everything and gets us a flight and everything. So we fly out Monday night. And I'm like, yes, we at the airport. I'm ready to get out and start walking. And mom was like, no, you need to wait on this wheelchair. I said, dang it. I didn't realize I weighed 87 pounds. Going to Kenya, I weighed 120 pounds. So being in that hospital those 5 or 6 weeks, I lost like 40-something pounds and only weighed 87. So they didn't think I could walk and, you know, have enough energy to walk in the airport. So I got a wheelchair in Kenya's airport and Switzerland's airport, because that's where we had our layover, and then back here at IAD. And I remember getting in the airport, landing here in DC and being mad because I had to wait on the wheelchair. I was like, come on, we in America, let's go. And mom was like, no, we waiting on this wheelchair. So I did, and then I got excited because I got to pass all the customs line people because I was in the wheelchair. You know, you get the front of the way. So I was excited at that point. So we got out all the bags, and this was May 13th when I landed. And so my dad, he drove up to pick us up from the airport, and he tells me that I was so small that he didn't realize how small I was, that he was like just frozen when I first came there to him. And he was like, you know, he got the luggage and put it in the car, and I didn't care what he was doing. The wheelchair guy opened the front door, and I got in the car like, yes, I'm ready to go home. And so I left my keys with a friend of mine named Ingrid. And I was just like, yeah, Ingrid, I'm going to Africa or Kenya for a week. Just watch over my house. You know, if anything happens, just let me know. Well, neither did Ingrid or I know that she would be watching it for 6 weeks. So Ingrid checked my mail. She watered my flowers. She got all the stuff out my refrigerator, threw it all away, bought me new groceries. She decorated my house with balloons and welcome home, get well. And so I opened the door and was like, oh, look at this. It's so nice. Oh, this is nice. And so Ingrid came over that first night. Got home and she cried and gave me a hug. And I had 2 other friends come over and give me hugs and everything, just because everybody was glad that I was back. And I remember that first Sunday that I was like, okay, we definitely have to go to church because I miss going to church. So we went to church, and I didn't know, we didn't tell anybody that I was coming, but someone told my pastor that I was in the congregation. So he stood up and he was like, you know, Alana's been in a bad accident, and he got word that I had made it back to the U.S. And so the church started clapping and everything. And then he said, and someone told me she was here today. And so I stood up, and the church, oh my gosh, they were just clapping, praising the Lord, like, oh my gosh, you're here, you're alive. And they started singing, He has done marvelous, He has done marvelous things. Praise the Lord. And so they all did all that, and they was all excited, and my dad and my sister and everyone was here with me. And after church, my pastor came to me and was like, you know, he can't believe what happened to me. He was so glad I was here. And he said the church collected a donation for me. And he said it was $20,000. I said, what? Like, what? And he said it was to pay my medical bills. And so I had to let the church office know if I had a bill, had to send them a copy of the bill, and they would pay the bill for me. Like, they didn't give me any of the money, but they would pay all my bills. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe God did this. So that was just odd to me. So then 2 weeks after us landing is when I went to my first brain surgeon's appointment, because the people from work let us know who I need to go to, the brain surgeon and everything. So I went to him, and he told me to go to all these doctors. I had a neo-psychiatrist. I went to 3 plastic surgeons. I went to 2 eye doctors. Went to a speech therapist. Went to a nutritionist. My regular